Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're jumping straight into some truly mind-bending material from the Keshe Foundation's Knowledge Seekers Workshop 650. We're unpacking what the source material calls the science of creation. And let me tell you, this completely flips the script on human biology. Instead of looking at our bodies as, basic mechanical machines that just run on the food we eat and the oxygen we breathe, this material presents the human being as a highly advanced cosmic energy converter. It's a total paradigm shift. So let's just dive right into how this science of creation actually works.
So I want you to pause for a second. Just feel your pulse. What do you think is the true purpose of your heartbeat? Traditionally, we're all taught that it's just this biological metronome, right? Just to pump moving blood through our veins. But what if it actually serves a vastly more profound universal purpose? According to the source, if we only look at the physical pumping of blood, we're completely missing the fundamental reason we are alive.
To really grasp this, we have to contrast two very different views. In traditional science, you've got the brain acting as the center of intelligence, and the heart is, just a mechanical pump. But the science of creation outlines an entirely different ecosystem. In this new paradigm, the brain is actually an energy converter, and the heart is what the text calls a soul synchronizer. The argument here is that the physical side of our senses is literally just the surface level. It's the hidden, energetic mechanics working behind the scenes that truly sustain us. And that brings us to this fascinating concept the text calls the pulse of the soul. See, the source explains that while physical energy operates on frequency, plasma energy operates on a pulse. The heartbeat actually creates an internal noise, a highly specific synchronization pulse for the entire construction of the human body. The text claims that without this specific acoustic noise from the heart, a human wouldn't survive for even a few seconds. It's not just about pushing blood around. It's about that acoustic bang, bang, communicating directly with the soul, essentially telling it exactly what energies to release to keep the whole system running. Now, think about how our physical anatomy actually plays into this. The skull isn't just some protective helmet for your brain. According to the text, it functionally acts as an acoustic reflector. It literally bounces the pumping fields of a heart right back onto the soul. And that reflection creates a noise that dictates our physical and emotional responses. It makes so much sense when you think about it. When you get anxious or super excited, your heartbeat changes, right? Well, in this framework, you're actually altering that acoustic feedback loop that manages your body's energy. Building on this whole idea of internal noise, the source highlights something you've probably seen monks or people in deep meditation do. They make this continuous humming sound, a deep Well, the text states this is actually incredibly powerful. When you superimpose that humming noise over your heartbeat, it actively balances your soul's frequency. Biologically speaking, this specific vibration happening in your sinuses creates nitric oxide, which then relaxes and opens up your blood vessels. It's a perfect, tangible example of using internal sound to harmonize the physical body with the energetic soul.
So, if the heart is the synchronizer, what about the brain? Well, the source material makes a really bold claim here, and I'm just going to quote it directly. Your brain is not an information center. Your brain is a generator, converter of the fields, a deeply working, functioning plasma nuclear reactor. The text emphatically rejects the whole idea that your brain is just a place for thinking or storing memories. Instead, it totally redefines the brain as this immensely powerful transformer that is literally designed to capture universal fields and convert them into usable physical energy.
Which brings us to this absolutely staggering figure presented in the explainer: 80 to 100%. The text claims that human beings actually absorb 80% of their required daily energy directly from cosmic rays and the surrounding environment. Yeah, not from the food we eat. And it goes even further, suggesting that with the right understanding and mastery of this internal science, you can push that number all the way up to 100%.
Okay, so you're probably wondering, how does all this cosmic energy actually get inside us? The source outlines specific intake valves on the human body, places like our fingertips, our backs, and our legs. And these aren't just random spots. They are highly specific energetic gateways. When the energies from these different points flow into the body and mix together, they create the exact energetic cocktail that your liver, your heart cells, and everything else in your physical structure needs to keep going.
And this ties perfectly into what we were just talking about with the brain. The source argues that the very shape of the human brain, the way it sits forward in the skull and physically connects to the eyes right underneath, is designed specifically for its role as a decoding machine. It literally translates the raw, invisible fields of the universe into physical sustenance. It's constantly processing environmental energy, basically decoding the cosmos itself into the physical energy you need to survive. So the million-dollar question is, who is running this entire operation? The source defines the human soul as the control room. In this framework, the soul isn't just some passive, abstract spiritual concept. It is the active, overriding commander of your biology. It decides exactly how much cosmic energy to absorb from the environment, and it's making these decisions dynamically, second by second, based on your current emotions, your breathing patterns, and of course, that acoustic pulse of your heartbeat.
So how does all of this build into an actionable process? Well, the text outlines what we can call the 3 pillars of transmutation. If you want to consciously convert universal energy, you have to synchronize 3 specific elements. First, your sight connection. Second, your breathing sequence. And third, your internal noise, your heartbeat. The source claims that mastering the alignment of these 3 pillars actually allows a human being to completely control plasma energy fields and consciously transmute environmental energy into physical form. However, there is a catch. The text hints at a mysterious 4th factor that's needed to complete the process. Even after you've totally synchronized your sight, your breath, and your heartbeat, there is still a very specific cosmic energy required from the universe to achieve complete, absorbed transmutation. It's framed as the final missing key to unlocking our full potential as cosmic energy converters. To ground this massive cosmic theory back into, actual human anatomy, the source points specifically to the thyroid gland. In this whole framework,
The thyroid isn't just there to regulate hormones. It actually acts as a crucial cosmic filter. It literally sits right between the physical body and the raw energy of the universe. So as your lungs expand and your heart beats, they interact with the thyroid gland, filtering the universe's energy right before it reaches the soul. The implications of mastering this 100% energy transmutation are just awe-inspiring. According to these teachings, if you can absorb all your energy directly from the universe, you'd literally have no need to ever consume physical food again. This would mean a complete end to destroying other life, whether that's animals or plants, just for our survival. On top of that, the text claims that this level of mastery unlocks extreme physical regeneration. We're talking about being able to regrow lost fingers, limbs, or even reconstruct damaged parts of the brain. It's wild. But contrast that boundless cosmic potential with our current everyday biology. The source presents a really fascinating perspective on organs like the tongue. Since we are theoretically designed to be universal energy converters, the text argues that we don't actually need a mouth to survive. The tongue and the whole sense of taste are seen as mere physical anchors. They were built into us simply to attach our human experience heavily to the dimension of physical matter, basically to ground us in the sensory experience of this specific planet. And this realization unlocks the ultimate capability outlined in the source, surviving the deepest parts of the universe. By learning how to transfer universal magnetic fields directly into the soul for sustenance, humanity simply wouldn't need a physical environment to survive. The text boldly claims that armed with this knowledge, a human being could exist in deep space, or even in the hottest, most radioactive parts of the cosmos, for thousands of years, entirely free from any need for earthly food or oxygen. So the ultimate goal of learning this science of creation is huge. The text states that this fundamental science is the literal key to freeing humanity from earthly governance. It's all about elevating mankind so we can finally step out of what the source calls the village of Earth. We are meant to evolve from earthbound creatures totally dependent on agriculture into entirely self-sustaining citizens of the cosmos. Which leaves us with a pretty massive thought to close out this explainer. If this source material is right, if your body is actually a highly advanced cosmic energy converter, fully capable of surviving the deepest, most extreme parts of the universe purely through the pulse of your heart and the control of your soul, what is truly tying you to the physical world? It's a question that completely reshapes how we view our own biology and, frankly, our ultimate place in the cosmos. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible deep dive.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 651st Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, July 16th, 2026. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, Education Department, and part of the public teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammond. I'll be host once again in this weekly series of continuous workshops. And once again, we have the honor of being joined with Mr. Mehran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, who will be presenting today's workshop once again. Please go ahead, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much. And good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation and Spaceship Institute. We welcome you back as usual, and again, we endeavor to understand more about ourselves. If you listen to the last part of the intro, which was just played, which is a accumulation of the knowledge of the last teaching and teaching before, we come to understand one thing. As mankind has always looked at everything in a physical way, and we open the door on the energy side of it, we saw how the eye, you look for sight, is actually the supplier to the soul, or the entrance to the soul. We saw how the lung is supporting another way, and the noise another way. But when you put these all together, it comes to one fundamental point. What does our physical body shows us, and we have accepted, and what we have missed in this dilemma, in this process, in this part of the knowledge of the existence of the man on this planet. Today's teaching is very fundamental if you understand it, and if you don't understand it, it's just another voice. For those who understand the teaching of today, those of men of medicine, those of men of science, those of men of space, will change the course, because in a way completes part of the knowledge of humanity, the physical dimension. Just 1 second, please. In the manner that will open new door to understanding of us on this planet, opens the door in understanding how we will survive in space. It's the beginning of opening of a new knowledge. Partially, the world of science has touched it, but they don't understand it. Because no one has ever put the two sides, the physical side and energy side together, to understand how humanity, the human body, the every life physical conditions created. It's been made so much in open. Sorry about this. Sorry, I'm teaching. Can you call back later? That it brings in forward a new understanding of our own lives. How our energy is sitting within us. How our physical life changes according to the energies we absorb. But fundamentally, today's teaching, if understood, and a lot of research of the Keshe Foundation in China from September on will go on this, because it opens a new dimension of transmutation and transportation. You will understand how fundamental the teaching of today will be. Those who ignore it, they will see it at their peril. Man will not survive in space if does not understand the fundamental teaching of today. This is a knowledge from the world of creation and not man. And this is how man has been fooled to look at his own physical condition. And when he cannot understand it, he has created a terminology for it, psychosomatic. It's not psycho, It's cosmosemitic. What we receive from the energy of the universe and our physical body cannot transfer into useful, or would like to be obstructed by it. We call it cosmo, psycho, everything else except saying we never understood. The structure of our physical body is based on it. The structure of our inner organs is based on it. We are built as exactly what I said, a leech over the what we call the shell of life, which is the soul of the man. That leech has extended its work to the skin of the man, to the lung of the man, to the brain of the man. But man never understood. When you look at the inner structure of the physical body, the what we call the physical absorption of energy runs so nicely parallel with the energy absorbed from the universe that we take it as it is. Wow, we never understood. And the media, when they interact with each other, we created it another dimension for it, which we never understood the function of. Let's look at in detail the physical condition of the man. And then we see how man can survive in space without this physical body. And then we open up the span of the knowledge. But the science of today, men are what we call vegetarian, which they eat protein at the vegetable level, or they are carnivores. We eat meat and we consume a secondary, higher strength, different combination, what we call amino acids, energies of life. And thirdly, there is a connection with the solid state of this matter. We use salt, we use what we call minerals of this planet, which they have no dimension of sacrifice. They are there as part of the structure. In the research of the scientific world today, we have seen, there is a deep research into this, that those who from birth do not consume meat, are not carnivores, have a smaller size brain than the ones which are using meat. Does not matter in what shape or form. Scientifically proven that vegetarians from birth have a different size on average than those who are carnivores. So it means consumption of the meat gives us another layer of expansion of the brain. But now, if you are not carnivore, and if you are not vegetarian, and then you rely only on the what we call a structure of this planet, you can see that your brain size is even smaller. Does not mean it changes your emotion. It doesn't mean that you have no emotion, or because you have a smaller brain, which means you need less resources to run the body from the planet. This is how most of the creatures in the universe work. So when we put the man away from killing animals, killing plants, and even going to the consumption of the mineral status of this planet, what is it left with the brain of the man? The soul. Central energy, with a cover which makes for itself, which allows the energy of the universe to be absorbed and used by the body of the living thing. Not having a brain does not mean not being intelligent. Actually, it means to be more intelligent. It means connecting using the whole universal fields of the universe as a brain of the man, the man has confined himself to the physical size of the brain. But when you look at the physical condition of the man, you will see the structure of the brain. As we know, the structure of the skin, the structure of the layer of the lung is the same. And this is scientifically put out. But what you see, which the world of science have not understood, and for the first time you might understand in the dimension of the energy, body has spread itself with universal energy absorbers, which converts the higher order above gamma ray into the dimension of cosmic rays of higher order. What we are searching for, neutrinos, our skin as the absorber of the neutrinos. Our brain is absorber of those neutrinos. Converts it into energy every second of our lives, and our emotion and thoughts decide what we need to absorb from that cosmic energy. How the body has hidden this structure of the absorption, especially close to the center of the core, which is the soul of the man, the central energy in the brain, and a physical structure, outer boundary of the skin of the man, is with myelin. Myelin is a transformer of the universal energy into the physical energy of the body of the man. In the today's science, because they cannot understand fully, they never understood the function of myelin, they call it is absorber of UV lights. Is this to stop us from there? Because they have not researched beyond, they never understood the actual body, skin of the man, the brain of the man, and the inner structure of the physical part of the man is energy absorber from the cosmos. We see myelin close to the center core of the brain of the man. This is where the energy of the soul is passed on to the physical brain to pass on internally into the structure of the body of the man. So we see myelin on the skin, on the hair. We see myelin in the inner structure of the brain. We don't see that much myelin in the inner structure, in the heart, very little in the inner structure of the brain. So, what happens to us? How we change one structure to another? How do we feed the internal side? From the energy we absorb in our soul, in the energy we absorb on the skin. And then we watch how melanin works. Melanin sits just below the skin. Melanin sits on the outer skin. In a way, the extension of the myelin and melanin creates that three-layer skin of the man. We see melanin on the skin in the dimension of the hair, transferred to myelin to be fed to the body of the man, doing the job of what the soul does with the brain of the man. We don't see much melanin inside the physical body, where we see myelin more inside the nerve system. But the key of the transfer of the energy is that when you look at the physical structure of the man, you see something which Rick can put on the screen for you to see, which you've never been understood. You have blood vessels parallel to nervous system. And we just take it for granted. The blood vessels are part which bring the energy of the matter we consume. the physical side. The energy of the universe, which comes through the soul, comes through the nerve side. That's why they are parallel to each other. In every sense, when you see it, if we could display the pattern, the shape of the neural system and the blood system next to each other, you see they are parallel. The energy of the universe, the energy which comes from our inner soul, hidden within our nervous system, transferred through our nervous system, in parallel with our blood vessel, with a mixture or being in between of the lymph, lead to creation of the physical body of the man. In a way, the heartbeat creates the pulse. In interacting with the lymph, converts it into a frequency. And with a nerve bringing the energy from the universe through our soul, through our brain, which converted through the myelin and melanin in the structure of the brain and the skin of the man, charges it up. Physical body does not need that much energy. That's why it's 20%. The other 80% comes through your nervous system. Your nervous system are not for you just feeling. Your nervous system is the energy supplied by the universe to you to supply, to live, to be part of. When you reach to understand this, you understand the two cannot exist that much. But the beauty is that if you take the nerve out, the system still works, because nerves in the position they were, they leave the condition of magnetic field, plasmatic field of them in the structure. And if you understood this principle, you understand that very easily. If you can replicate the energy needed, let's say for a kidney, I can take the kidney out of the body, create the fields as it was, and the kidney will appear again. You don't need transplant. We have shown this in a condition with Naomi with the brain. Part of the brain which was missing and damaged was rebuilt. Understanding this principle, using the universal energy, supporting it with what we know. You look at the field of the ganses, even when you hold in your hand, or you put it in a cup, or you use it for your paint pen. We understand there is an energy beyond that. The ganses which you have learned to work with bring in huge amount of cosmic ray with them, because they work in a spectrum of the condition of the universe and not the matter state. So if you understand melanin, which is on the skin, myelin, which is again on the layer of the skin, and then melanin, which does not appear much inside the body of the man, but melanin does in your neural system, is the conversion, reduction of the energy 1 to 1. What it means, the melanin on the skin of the man absorbs the energy, knows there's a filter system between the first and second layer and the third layer of the inner size with myelin comes into operation. What needs to be transferred to myelin? And myelin transfers that back into whole system. Your nervous system is not just sending information out, and then if you get pinched, it brings back information that you've been pinched. That neural system continuously transfers energy into the what we call inner structure, that the body can survive. It's not just two-way information, it's two-way energy too. If you're sleeping on one side away from the sun, and on one side you're on the ground, your ground side of the skin too is melanin absorbs the energy over the cosmic ray from the soil, from the inner core of the planet, which is different than when you sleep and the other side of your body is in the sun. And the two have to balance each other. that one side does not starve or damage because of. So the two sides of energy transfer the energy which is come from the skin, melanin, to the myelin, and then it operates normally, that you run. This is how when you fall asleep, you go through the physical transmutation, which you don't understand, never understood, because now the, in a way, if you understand, even your eyelashes, even your eye cover has melanin. That melanin decides, now I change the strength, in a way I open the lens, reduce the, in a way take the tent away, even the tent is on, and the soul can transmute. World of science has not understood that myelin and melanin are actually transferers of the universal energy, cosmic ray energy, that the body of the man uses. This is where your 80% of the energy comes in. We have seen in Chernobyl, for example, there are structures which live much better in certain places in Chernobyl near the nuclear centers, where the actual nuclear material is working. And when the scientists noticed how these materials exist, they saw that the higher energy, they create a black melanin. And the black melanin absorbs the gamma plus radiation from the nuclear material and converts it to the energy that the entity can live. If you have listened to the teaching of the past 10 years or so, many times I referred that I have a box in the laboratories of the Keshe Foundation, creatures within a box, and they're living with us for 15, 20 years now. Because I created a condition of the myelin and melanin, that condition I created allowed the creation of life. Once the man understands the power and the strength of the myelin and melanin, that the myelin is for absorption of the utter energy in a cosmic ray level, and the myelin is for transfer of those energies to the rest of the body of the man, then you will understand life has a different meaning. The skin of the man, once you connect it to the soul of the man, then with operation of the myelin becomes one. You don't need the brain. You don't need the structure to operate in. You work within the universal energy. This is the time when you can transfer yourself, transmute yourself as an energy, and then when you arrive at a point of destination, depending on the climate, magnetic field pressure, whatever, the structure we can survive in that position will manifest itself in the interaction with the inner fields of the plasma of the soul of the man, and shell, which is what we call covered by myelin and melanin together. That gap, that middle layer of your skin is not just there for nothing. This is why when you have emotional condition, what is not energy from the internal and what's not energy from external in the lymph or the magnetic field becomes solidified. And that solidification in the body of the man is a calcium and sodium seed base. You get all sorts of body conditions on the skin. Cirrhosis is one of the examples of it. If you look at the position of cirrhosis on the skin of the man and look at the emotional structure of the brain of the man and how it's been, you see there's a problem with the mother, there's a problem with the society. And then that change, that balance between the myelin, the melanin, and the emotion, which itself has a condition will manifest why salt is produced in that point, which creates the problem. The same way, if when you come to the inner part of the body of the man, where the blood vessels are and where the nerve systems are, which one is the cosmic ray energy and one is the physical energy, the physical condition energy transfer decides if you have a bone in that place, if you have a tissue of the heart in that place, and the rest of it. So, if you understand this, man can live in a space without any physical organ. Man can live without a physical organ when it can transfer its energy, what I call consumption, is condition of its field equal to 100%. Which means you don't need the section of the brain which is for meat eaters. You don't need the section of the brain which is for vegetarians. You don't need the section which is for the minerals of this planet. You become a pure light. You become a pure universal energy in the center, which the skin of the man with the melanin on it, the strength field of the melanin, not the material melanin, becomes the skin. This is how the skin of the solar system decided. This is how the skin of this atmosphere of this planet decided. When you are in that melanin condition, feel the strength, you become like that main brain when you peel an egg shell. Doesn't need physicality. Our bone is that eggshell outside which has restricted us. When you take that bone structure, that shell away, you don't need to be hard body. You become that yolk in the egg without the shell. Then you understand, do we need the bone structure to be manifested as a man on this planet? Then you get your answer. When you reach 100% control by the energy of the soul of the man, the physical energy which creates a bone, flesh, your recycling system of the what we call intestine and the storage of the liver and the rest is not needed because the balance energy is created by itself. You become replication of a more or less an egg or replication of the universe. When next time you get an egg, drop it in a glass of water, and we all know what to do with it, and you wake up in the morning in a solution in a cup, there is a egg without the shell. That's how the soul of the man is. That's how the structure of the physicality of the man is. In the egg, we cluster it with what we call calcium layer outside. In the body of the man, we have made the same egg on the top, we call it the skull of the man. And the rest of it, we have created the structure of the physicality of the man. As we can take the shell of an egg off by creating the right environment, we can take the shell off the physical body of the man, the what are called the brick and stones of the bone of the man, the same way, and it still exists. The egg didn't die because we took the shell away. Still there. The membrane of it, which is that melanin layer inside it, holds it on. This is how the stars are kept. This is how the energy of the planetary system, this is how the energy of the galaxies are kept. There is no jacket on it. You don't need that membrane because they feel the strength of the central soul decides the expansion, the boundary of the what we call the physical structure. This is how, when you go back, when I explained to you before, when you arrive on the moon, you cannot live in the monkey suit of the space suit. You live as life can be, existing, enjoy the pleasure of the creation on the moon. Doesn't need 2 legs, doesn't need 4 legs. Does it have to be in the condition of the energy pack? Because this condition, this central core of the moon, does not support dimension of physicality of life in motion. Then you understand. The world of science has never understood the work of myelin and melanin. And now you understand. Now you can control the expansion, the combination, the configuration with your breathing. If you create more and more of the energy through the dimension of the gaseous part of this planet, which is again separated from the mineral part of this planet, you do not need the bone structure. Because the operation of the lymph changes. The operation of the stomach changes because you don't need to, once you learn and transfer the absorption of the energy through the mouth to the soul. Very interesting. We see all these pictures shown by different nationality in different governments of the aliens, but we never see a mouth on them. You do not need the mouth to absorb the energy of the atmosphere to fit. This inhaling and exhaling has been the habit of chaining the man to this planet. If you can understand how to connect to your soul, that you do not even need to breathe, then you will see you do not need the physical body of the man. Because you learn how to connect the myelin and the inner liquid, what we call contains melanin, the melanin on the outside, the myelin inside, to transfer energy from the environment into the center to feed the soul of the man. The soul of the man does not need physical energy from physical materials. It lives on the dimension of energy of the universe. This is why we see different characteristics with the black skin. We see different characteristics with the white skin. Because the energy absorption on melanin decides the behavior, energy transfer into the what we call myelin section, which is the inner core, which is connected to the soul. In a way, when you reach that point, you just have the soul, and then you have the boundary, and everything else inside is a combination of fields. It has emotion, it has everything else that needs to survive in the span of the universe. You only create manifestation when the emotion would like to taste to be part of the physical world of the place and existence and the position. You've been asking us, how can I transmute? You have to get rid of that frog off the physical part. This is what your soul does when you go to sleep. Send the energy out. But through the myelin and melanin, which has allowed it to go, they keep a hold on to. This is why you age, because your skin gets disturbed in absorption of the field of the cosmos. Does not supply what it needs by the soul, does not supply what it needs by the melanin to keep every organ internally going, and you die. Your death, natural death, is due to the absorption of the myelin energy from the environment. It's not through your heart failure. It's not through the weakness of everything else. As the myelin and melanin do not work in combination, you will find the problem with aging. This is why people like the fountain of youth. If you're looking for a fountain of youth to live a life a long time, look as melanin and its energy absorption and myelin energy transfer. That's the fountain of youth. As long as you can keep your skin, doesn't matter, you put chemicals on it which cause it to die more than actually finding a natural process, you live for thousands of years. This is what I always said. This is why maybe you, for the first time, you understand why people with the silk and the wool live a longer life. Those are humans who have worn nothing but silk and wool in the cycle of their life, live a very, very long natural life, because it carries the combination with the skin of the man, can take the energy of the universe. It's made of the same thing. When you start using cotton and other material, natural material for your clothing, you extend the life, pleasures of the life different too. Because when you wear silk and wool, you carry with the same transmutation, transportation, because you are a human eating food, man made, the outer brain with meat matches. So the energy conversion is continuous. When you do wear things like cotton, like other fibers, now we see the wood fibers, even it changes your emotion, because the natural energies are absorbed through the myelin and melanin, which touches your skin through natural process, which is part of the conversion. Now it comes why we see diseases increase in so much, skin diseases, emotional diseases, when we run into huge problems with the skin of the man and the behavior of the man because of the plastics. All this new introduction of new materials, which is synthetic, they create a static energy on the skin. They don't create a transferable energy like the wool and the silk and the cotton and linen does. And the worst thing which has happened now, we see a huge emotional cancers and other things with the athletic people. They go depressed, they go blah blah, and we see people run, but they're not very healthy, is because the skin, the clothes they wear, first of all, is synthetic, which means doesn't give anything to the body. Secondly, with the new colors, which is all carbon based, they create local damages, which energy is transferred in synthetically. We see a lot of problems. If you understand the work of the myelin and melanin and the work of the natural materials, then you see even your life change. You don't need to change your diet. Just change your clothing to natural materials. Then you will see you live longer. You live with less diseases. You live with less problems than the normal youngsters and the other people wear. Polyester is cheap, yes, but creates a synthetic energy which cannot be absorbed, which cannot be transferred, and it becomes a cause of a problem between myelin and melanin and the rest of the structure of the body. Majority of the diseases we see with the new generation, majority of diseases we see with people, is introduction of what we call synthetic materials, which create not flow current between the melanin, myelin, and the skin cover, but they produce a static energy. You charge it. What do you expect from it? You use chemicals on your skin. You block the work of the what we call myelin and melanin to work to coordinate. Years ago, I worked with a doctor in respect to the athletes in Belgium.
Okay.
We found out very easily, very rapidly, why.
Visto che molto rapidamente.
Excuse me, somebody's online. We saw how the cyclists suffer from hidden pains which cannot be done by, because of the rubbing of just the synthetic material between the legs when they cycle. We introduced a new type of material, and we introduced a different way of the water consumption, and we created 3 European champions. Go in there, look at 2009, 2010, and look, unexpected European champions in the cycle of the Europe, which 1 or 2 of them were then disqualified because they were not supposed to be at that level. They used the Keshe Foundation technology with the doctors. We tested it. We didn't interfere with the race. We understood the problem of the myelin and melanin and how the energy is transferred to the athlete. What I teach you today is not something suddenly. It's been coming up, and for years I told you, you use 80% energy from outside and 20% from inside, what you eat from this planet. And when you learn to live without consuming energy from the planet, you can live anywhere in the universe. You don't need a mouth. Have a look how many of the aliens they show you have a mouth. You have learned to consume energy. You just manifest yourself in the dimension of physicality, time, place, and position. You look at the world champion cyclist 7 times. Now you know how the last ones were achieved. You look at the European cyclist in 2009, 2010, 2011 and see which one were disqualified. They couldn't prove any substances, but this is not the bracket. They could have reached that championship, that leadership, that winning. All we did, we changed the absorption of energy through the skin. Nothing else. The same doctor was responsible for the awakening, reproduction of the brain of the first coma case in the world, proving that we can transfer the skin into the brain. It became a crime to bring a new technology, science of creation, in the world of the most ignorant nation of Belgium. Now you understand how, once you understand the transfer of energy to the soul, to the what we call inside, then giving it to the skin, you don't need the skin, you don't need the boundaries. You just allow what is needed, what is accepted to be the physical shape to make itself. This is, if you understood, you can cut a leg, cut an arm, and you don't need to sew it. You just need to place it, create a condition in front of it, and it'll grow back. Exactly what the reptiles do. When you understand the conversion of the universal energies, cosmic rays, through melanin into the digestible level that it can be transferred with myelin, then you understand even why you get Alzheimer's. We see in Chernobyl creation of melanin in black color. Read the papers. It's 10 years now in public. Creation of what we call fungi, but it's actually living thing, which has a black cover, and it eats, it survives from the energy of the gamma ray, because the scientists cannot imagine cosmic ray exists there. It's beyond their imagination as usual. That's all. As I always said, you take from this technology according to your intelligence, according to your understanding. Knowledge of the man stops at gamma ray. And read the papers and see the research which is done by the world of science in respect to the transfer of energy with melanin and myelin. Myelin doesn't do much with the radiation. It has not got, because it receives as a transformer. Melanin created in Chernobyl, we see the dark. We see the dark material, black material of melanin. But melanin in the skin of the body of the man, when it goes to a higher level energy, becomes black. We have a blacker skin. That's all you understand. But it's actually absorption of the energy from the cosmos, which transfers. And then we see the gray part of the brain of the man where we see Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. And then you understand why Keshe Foundation is successful in reversing some of it if we get the right field strength to the person. We don't do magic. We just create a field strength. If the universities start understanding and work, it'll go like a ham. God knows, the hottest thing in the world of science. None of you should die. The key to staying young, living forever, is to get rid of the inner structure, physical condition of the body of the man, or learn how to transfer the cosmic rays in an ordinary manner to myelin from melanin, which is on the skin of the man. It's on your hair. Why do people have more hair in certain places than no one? Melanin lives in the hair. Transfer of energy is not just there to cover you, it's an antenna of what field frequency to absorb, to pass on. It feeds, is a direct route into your myelin, in your emotion. Next time you sleep next to a man with a chest full of hair, and then next time when you touch a man with no hair, then you understand the energy absorption, the emotion, the strength, and everything else which goes. Why do we have hair on our legs and our arms? Why do we have hair under our armpits? There is a reason for it. It's a conversion of the fields of energy depending where we live and how much cosmic ray is directed at us. Then you understand how man never understood that your myelin and melanin are actually converters of universal, deliverers of the universal energies to your physical part. And if you can change that, you can live very simply without resources of this planet or anywhere in the universe. We haven't seen aliens coming on Earth chasing our cows or eating humans. They don't have the mouth. And one of the points of maturity of the man to become part of the universal community is to lose that hole which creates all the problem for mankind, to be locked in the village of the earth called the mouth and the digestion system of the man. Have you ever seen any of the pictures that tell you that the people are Martians or aliens with a big belly? They don't have a stomach. They don't have the digestion system. They just replicate themselves to live, to be able to survive on this planet, to be part of. Now you understand. If the world of medicine understands, if the world of creation understands the work of the melanin and myelin in the body of the man, as one is the converter and one is the transformer to the body of the man, and then man understand that it can work with the operation of the soul of the man, with the what we call operation of the melanin, which the brain is part of the skin and is part of the lung, then you understand how you can turn inside out. You don't need the soul of physicality to make a condition of physical and it stays within, which in a way you become the white of the egg, become the soul of physicality, and the yolk become the soul of the man. You can transmute across the universe through any keyhole. It's time for the world of science to move on to understand the absorption and the function of the melanin and the myelin in the body of the man. Then you don't need fountain of youth. The fountain of youth is when you can create a condition that the soul of the man is directly working with the skin of the man, and when you even cover the skin of the man, you put on it natural conversion systems which are close to it, like wool and silk. And then if you are vegetarian, woolen silk is not, again, it's another problem for you because it doesn't exist in vocabulary of your world. You're better off with cotton and any other organic materials. Nowadays they use wood. In my world, in my wardrobe, you don't find, unless by mistake or whatever, synthetic materials. From my coat to my inner clothing, it's nothing but cotton and wool. And this is the way I lived for a long time. Be careful what you buy, because it touches your soul, the transfer of energy from your outer to inner. Wearing leather shoes, wearing synthetic clothing have to be in tune and balance. You have to understand how you absorb the energy, how you transfer the energy, how you bring energy into the inner sanctum. But at the same time, you need the energy for giving back out what you need, what you don't need in the body of the man. It's two-way system. The field, the aura of the heart of the man can be felt within 3 feet in 1 meter and disappears. The aura of the soul of the man can be felt the whole field of the universe. Why has man chosen the physical dimension just to be felt by one, when it can be part of the universal community? When you understand this, the knowledge of the universe is part of your brain, part of your inner sanctum. You do not need university to be educated in the knowledge of the universe. It is you. Now you understand the position of the creation. I made man in the image of myself. I am me as you are. I am you. Then, this is what I said, we don't see any universities, we don't see any churches, we don't see anything in the universe. Because once you reach that level, you have matured to be part of the creation and the creator. The fountain of youth is to become part of the creator, not to live another 500 years or 1,000 years. When you
Hello, Mr. Keshe. I think we have a temporary
Can you hear me?
disconnection. Yes, hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hear you now, yes?
How long did you lose me?
Just for a sentence, probably just a few seconds.
Thank you very much. Now you understand how you become citizens of the universe. Fountain of youth is to understand how to work with universal energies and not with the eating of energy. Understand the work of myelin and melanin. So nicely hidden that the man up to today could not understand. The key to it is the emotion. Transferring it, needs a full understanding of the medium, which is your lymph. This is why your breathing touches your work. It's so instantaneous that it doesn't need digestion for 8 hours for the meat and 4 hours for vegetables and this amino acid and that acid in your stomach. When you breathe, it doesn't go to your stomach to have a digestion. It transfers directly into the lymph. And if you learn how to work with that, you'll find out that through the rhythm of the breathing, you transfer energy to the soul, that you don't even need to breathe, because what you breathe can be poison to your inner construction of the energies of your body, in any other point in the universe. That way, you become independent of the air and the soil and the physicality of the planet. Now you understand, step by step. We go deeper and deeper in the teaching in the future with this, that you understand fully how it works. The physical part, your blood vessels, your energy part from the universe as your nervous system gives manifestation to the physicality of the man, using the lymph as a medium. That's why everything I said many times, you don't eat the banana and banana appears in your muscle tissue. Banana becomes a lymph energy, and that lymph energy only gets manifest into matter state where the blood vessels and the nerve in respect to each other create that condition, that what cell needed to be in between them, what physicality needs to be created that they exist. This is why when you get old and your muscle shrivels, that combination, that strength, it changes. You can change everything in your body to what we call the field of the soul, and understanding the position and the position of the fields anywhere in the body of the man. Those who understood this lived hundreds of years. I have met men who lived 250 years, 300 years, and they look as they're 78 years old. They give you the history of where they were, what they were, and you can trace every second, everywhere they've been in 250 years, 300 years. So living a long life is not a secret, is how your body is and your inner energy are connected to each other, that the fields of the universe in touch with the melanin of your skin transfers into energy that myelin can transfer, create the muscle tissue, create the condition of life, and can change everything. We've done that in China. People who cannot move, creating a condition, they move freely, they lose all their pains, they become young again. Not young in a way of young by age, but young by being mobile. Understanding this knowledge, transfer of the energy conversion from myelin to melanin and from melanin to myelin. We just create the environment. In the next few months, you will see products in China, Keshe Foundation, which will be in the market. It'll be in the hospitals and in pharmaceuticals, that creates, understand the condition of the conversion of the fields of myelin to melanin, certified by the Chinese medical system. We start introducing these products very soon, before end of this year, that you can physically purchase and change the life, the extent of life you have. You don't need to suffer with pain if you know how to transfer energy from melanin to myelin and reverse back. This is how the new cosmic ray pens works from the Keshe Foundation. It's solid. You hold it, you see it. Previously it was different. It's not plastic anymore. It's there, you are in touch, you are part of. The new product of the Keshe Foundation works on this principle, because now it's time has reached for man to be mature, to understand how it can work. Now you understand why the world of medicine tells you the skin of the man and the brain of the man and the lung of the man are the same tissue. It's the longest, biggest, largest organ in your body. Because is that eggshell which has transferred itself in the inner body of the man, and you call it the bone. And main brain is outside, you call it the skin of the man. The skin of the man controls yourself not by what's inside your physical body, but how it's connected to the soul of the man. Is the extension of the same work. It's you who decides how you dilute it in respect to the environment you live, high mountain, in a valley, different food conditions, that your height, your long, and everything else changes. Now we see, even in China, even in different part of the world, where everyone was short, now we see tall Chinese, we see tall Japanese. This is because the new way of eating and combination of the food has changed that barrier of the what we call between myelin and melanin. And that allows different position for the soul of the man. In a way, if you understand it, the soul of the man has an energy that can take you further distance from the surface of the earth. So you go taller. There is no limit in how tall a man can get once the energy transfer between the soul and what the physicality supports allows it to be. Your soul can only stand at the position when you stand up that this field's strength allows to be away from the surface of this planet at the point of time, place, and position. It's like two magnets. You try to bring them together, they don't come because of the field strength. The other magnet, one magnet is the soul of the man, soul of physicality, and the other magnet is the inertia and the soul of the planet. Dictates your height, nothing else does. And if you change the energy in the dimension of soul of physicality, the soul of the man moves further away. And if you change the emotion, you can bring it and make yourself short. Now you understand how the system works, how you thought you have a nervous system, but in fact your nervous system is the alien part into the structure of the physicality of the man. Without it, you don't have a parallel to create, to interact with the fields of the matter state, which is your blood, and what the two agreed, that the lymph that leads to creation of the physical condition and position of the man. Now you understand why you have lymph everywhere. When you cut yourself, you get the red and a little bit of the white. Look at why you feel the pain. That's the part where the universal energy has to come in and does not transfer. And it somewhere gets lost and you see it as a pressure on the cell and you call it a pain. If you transfer that pain out of its position, you have no pain because the energy is transferred from myelin to melanin and from melanin to outside. This is how the pain pen works. Transferring that energy straight away out of the body of the man into the space outside as part of the cosmic energy rays. What you feel as a pain is the energy, the field strength that the body physically cannot take, the blood cannot take. You introduce an outside component to it and immediately disappears. Knowing what, not everything. You suffer from conditions like anything, your sinuses. In the very near future, look into the Chinese Keshe Foundation medical part and you'll find a solution. One application will change your life. These are will be certified medicine in the Chinese government operation and be used extensively. You can't get it in the West. Fly to China, buy it from a pharmacy next year, and come back. It still carries the logo and the sign of the Keshe Foundation. We don't interfere with the world of medicine, but we introduce a new medicine against what Rockefeller was trying to push the man into. Petroleum-based or cosmic ray-based. Cosmic technology is the new parallel. Understanding the work of myelin and melanin in the body of the man. Nothing else. Because what we make, we still have to interact with these. It cannot just jump the barrier. Once you understand If you take the blood vessels and the blood out of the body of the man, you will have a man which never dies, works on universal energy, and keeps his physicality. But the condition of this planet, which is part of it, is what we call matter state of it, forces you to have a matter state that we all three are there. The physical body, the bone structure, and the soul of the man. Compromise to be the prisoner of this village of earth. Anyone, any human being can reach the point that can work through the what we call the skin of the man, which is connected to the soul of the man, which is connected to the brain of the man, to transmute without the condition of physicality. In the future, I will explain in a very beautiful way what is the weightlessness when you're in the dimension of the soul. You think you can just get into the what we call special tanks and float, or go to the space station and float. You can actually walk on the space station as you're on planet Earth. Nothing changed. You just tune the energy level, absorption in your brain into the condition of the time, place, and position. Anywhere in the universe is 1G. For the physicality you create, or for the soul presence at the time, place, and position. It's time for mankind to understand he has the main brain of the egg, and it does not need the shell of the egg. And in that main brain of the egg, mankind has to understand, has the capability of the switching to the physical condition or the energy condition. Do I need a muscle tissue, or I can travel the space with my physical condition within me? In a way, up to now, your physicality gave the compromise to your dimension of soul, place, and position. Now the soul does that with the physicality of the man, where the skin of the man goes in, and when the soul of the man takes over. Melanin and melanin are your connection to your universal energies, to your universal life. The flesh, the bone, the blood, and the heart is your connection to this planet. It's you have to decide in how you bring the two together and how you energize the lymph and the emotion together to be in either dimension. And mankind can be in either as he understands the process of the creation. But there is one condition in the whole process. The emotion of killing has to be wiped out from the essence of the physical condition of the body of the man. And as long as it exists, man will be shackled to this planet. You can spend a long time getting to Mars and to Jupiter, and maybe 10,000 light years to another galaxy, or you can travel in the dimension of the fields of the universe, which is instantaneous. But you cannot kill where you go. You cannot destroy when you arrive. This condition of killing, this condition of the possession will change as we introduce more and more the Keshe Foundation coins, where man becomes free from the shackles of this planet. The food become energy transfer through the what we call ONN systems. And the energy of the life and joy becomes as part of the life without burden of connecting and being connected to this planet. Gradually we set the condition, and gradually the whole humanity will change. And then we are on the steps to what you can transmute, and what you call the fountain of youth is the life of the universe, which is always the same. There is no beginning and there is no end to it. It's you who have to understand the knowledge. The world of the medicine, the world of physiology, the world of the creation by the scientist of the man, has to understand that the myelin and melanin, especially melanin, is not just something to be on the skin to change the color of your skin. It's actually the converter of the universal energies into how it's fed, and between the middle layer, you call it, of your skin, and in the body of the man, call it the lymph, converts that energy to the dimensional matter state and condition of life on this planet. As long as the man does not understand this, man will fight with cancers, man will fight with all diseases, man will have hassles and problems and be prisoned in the village of Earth. Because it's so blatantly in front of you that you never understood. But in a way, you add, you talk about it, but you don't understand what is the fundamental effect and what we call operation of. Now you understand why your brain is part of your skin and is part of your lung. In a way, you have isolated itself and a feeding center of itself by itself. You are that shell, membrane of the egg. You are that atmosphere of the solar system and the rest of it. Containment comes on a condition of the field balance. And how you reduce your field balance in one dimension, it decides the position and the place and time. This is why the electron rotates around the proton so easily. The strength of, the weakness of one in respect to the other decides the size of the atom. And when the size changes, the distance changes, man has learned one word: isotopes. In the laboratories of the Keshe Foundation, we produce hydrogen as a normal hydrogen, as a distance hydrogen, and as an absorbing hydrogen. This technology has never been taught, but we use it extensively in our labs for operation. Because that to you a normal plus or minus is actually the field strength of the electron from its center. The stronger it is, the weaker it is. But it's all the same electron and the same proton or same nucleus. Now you understand. Teaching has a depth. Teaching has, and we see the mankind reaching that point that can understand this, that understands your nervous system is part of your universal system. Your blood vessels is part of your physicality. And the compromise and connection is your limbs, which connects to the gaseous part, energy part of the what we call the place, time, and position. We made man according to the energy he absorbs from his gaseous, not from what is made of his matter state. That's why the lung is part of your skin. It's like we blow an air inside an egg. That's how, if you were a kid, you remember you used to put the syringe straight in and empty the yolk. That yolk is your soul. You can empty it, but the white still stays, and you can replace it with anything you like. And that additional space is what you call the lung of the man, to take energy that confirms the place, the time, and the position, and the manifestation of the soul of the man. Today's teaching is so fundamental that if the world of the science understands, and if the knowledge seekers understand, I have given you the key to become part of the universal community. It's not in our hand, it's in your hand. It's you who have to understand how you have shackled yourself to the skin of the man and the condition of the transfer of an understanding of the work of the myelin and melanin. You have a transformer, and you just called it melody. It transfers the energy of the universe above cosmic rays into what the man needs as myelin to live. You don't need to kill. You need to create a condition of the emotion through the soul of the man, that it changes the absorption energy of the fields on the surface. And then you become part of the universal community. You don't need a physical dimension. You don't need the stomach. You don't need to kill for it. It's given to you free, but the rest of the creation and the creator in the universe. We are the messengers of God. We are the teachers. And we teach till the man walks away from killing. We don't force it, because the combination of energy can bring man to the same point again somewhere in the space. Now feel energy, the emotion of the superiority by killing and destroying, that I can eat you, I can absorb you, has to be raised from the part of the emotion of the man. What you say is tastes beautiful. What you say, it chews nicely. I like the taste. The taste of the killing has to be raised from the memory of the energy fields of the body of the man. Then you can join the universal community. We go for a break, we come back. Rick, can you take us for a break, please?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you. Okay, we'll, as Mr. Keshe mentioned, we'll have a break here in our 651st Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And in the second half, there will be an opportunity to ask questions. And I'll remind our attendees here in the Zoom that you can raise your virtual hand, and then we can recognize your microphone and open it for you. And also you can put questions in the chat or in the Q&A in Zoom, or in the chat in YouTube as well. All right, for our break today, there's a new Keshe Coin video that I would like to play. And just let me get that ready here. Okay, this is, I believe, the 5th video of the Keshe Coin in the series. And it'll be about 4 minutes. I'll play it now. I'm just having a little trouble getting it jump started here. Just bear with me a second while I re-download it. Still dealing with it. Just to bear with me. I just have consider it a minute or two of silence so that you can reflect on things. I just have to sort out which one I need to play here. Okay, well, I think I'm going to have to do a different attempt here.
What's the problem?
Trying to play the video and it's not playing. I'm trying to re-download it from where I got it from you, but it's not.
It is no longer a struggle, but a birthright.
Yeah.
Oops.
Go back to the beginning of it.
Yeah, I'm not able to
Okay.
download it. It's stuck basically.
No
So
problem.
let me play
We can play
the.
it next week.
Yeah, I'll play the Keshe coin number 4 for now.
Yep.
At the center of the world, brilliant minds are waiting. Students with dreams, ideas, and intelligence. Students with dreams, ideas, and intelligence, but without the tools, guidance, and support to rise. In poor countries, in forgotten communities, across continents and cultures, talent is not missing. Opportunity is missing. Keshe Coin is here to change that. Keshe Coin is introduced as a digital currency for a greater mission. 1,000 Keshe coins, with each coin valued at €1,000. The path to a dignified life is opened. Access to food, healthcare, and growth is guaranteed.
Hello.
Through the on.
I think this is wrong. You have to delete this one. This is the old one. Doesn't matter. Leave it. We play another one. We can carry on with the questions. And this you have to delete from it. This is an old one. I'll send you the series of new ones. Are you there?
Yeah, I think this was the last one that was supposed to be fixed. So we'll have to make sure we run each video by you
Yeah, I send you a set of 5 of the new ones. No problem.
Okay, good.
Okay. Thanks very much. Delete everything you have on your chart. Till you get the fresh ones, you don't mix them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so you probably have something you'd like to say before we engage in the questions.
As usual.
Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Next week's teaching will be at 6 p.m. Central European Time and another 9 o'clock a.m. Please note that next week will be the same. It's possibly the week after will be the same. These are because of the things which are happening inside the Keshe Foundation. We have to do a lot of things in the background to bring in order. Next week on Thursday, Keshe Foundation will make a very fundamental announcement in respect to the work of the foundation and the things which has happened in the foundation in the past years. We should be able to make an announcement which fundamentally brings a lot of things to a lot of you knowledge, because you'll be with us and you've been going through the whole emotion of the foundation work in the past 10 years. On the other hand, the first units of the ONN today will be shipped to the knowledge seekers. Hopefully it's already done, or it was on the process of being done. And second batch will be shipped in the next 10 days. And hopefully the process of using the coin will start. We start setting up things, as you understand, the next couple of months is testing the ONN systems in the field, what problems we see, what needs to be ratified, what it can be from central control position. And once these are all assessed and completed, sometime hopefully in September onwards, we start releasing a large number of these units across to all your knowledge seekers. Those of you who know, we have already informed you receiving these units. Please do not let anyone know you received one. These are primary units, and we need to understand how they work and how they can be controlled, how coins can be transferred across them safely, how everything else to do with the work of the Keshe Foundation in the background is being said to be done. Once the system is fully up and running, then the whole structure of the release of the coins will be added to and operated through. You do not need now, once these are in operation, to what you call have a unit to be able to work within the structure of the Keshe Foundation with the games and the use of the Keshe coin, because this brings operational work of us into a very smooth way to dissipate what we're looking for and what we're working for. Please understand that we, in the next week or so, release a list of the people we need for our scientific work. And if you have the expertise on the list which is going to be released, get in touch with the Keshe. If you know people who have such a expertise, ask them to get in touch with us to become part of the Space Center operation of the Keshe Foundation in China. The list is extensive, is all scientific, and you should be on your, what we call Keshe Foundation, what we call knowledge needed, expertise needed. And if you fall within our request, within our framework of the people we need, please go to it, see if you know any scientist who is in that field, to join us in the expansion of the Keshe Foundation Space Technology. Our technical work in the way of research and development complete in China will start in September of this year. So if you are a scientist of the caliber which we are going to promote, we are looking for what we call, we need it to complete it as fast as we can. Rick has just played on the screen, which says, first, Keshe Space Plasma Research Teams. Would you like to read it for those who are not on the screen, if it's possible, please?
Sure, yeah. It says, as Mr. Keshe said, first, Keshe Space Plasma Research Teams. Be part of the first team ever in the Keshe Space Plasma Research Laboratories in Iran, China, or USA. Each laboratory is set to start with 100 research members from all nationalities and backgrounds. This is a year-to-year research program to develop and complete many aspects of the new space era. You can join to be a member of this research team and to be part of the developing members of the new space plasma technology. The research program will start from the 1st of September 2024, it says. It
should be 2026.
2026, with teams designated for lift and motion, transmutation, wellness, food, agriculture, energy, materials, and environment. One can choose in which section they would like to be part of, and even change after 12 months to another section.
Okay, that's good enough. Thank you very much. The list which will be released is in detail of what we call expertise you have. This will appear in Keshe Foundation website as part of this in next 2 weeks. And if you can move, if you can be versatile to join us in this kind of research in China, you can choose your time and the place. We are looking for people, not knowledge seekers who've done gas making or made a few reactors. We need experts in space technology. We need experts in material. And we have the premises. We are setting up the research centers. And with it, we need the experts to join in. Otherwise, we have to bring people from outside the Keshe Foundation, and then for them to learn the ethos of the Keshe Foundation and the rest of it. It's a bit difficult, but it's doable. we need to understand that once we release the coins in full operation, and once we release the operation of the Keshe Foundation Research Center in China, everything changes for us. And we need a lot of people with different expertise in sale, in programming, especially in computer side. We need huge number of people in that side. If you're expert, not just or I have worked, suddenly everybody is an AI specialist because they work on it 3 weeks. We need people who are people in what we call IT developers. Extensively, we need a large number of IT developers to complete and work most probably from China for us. And it is essential for us to strengthen the AI section of the ones. We had many knowledge seekers, I work in AI, I do this and that. It's just the surface. We need experts who can develop the programs for us. And this is one of our, what we call top needs in the Keshe Foundation. If there are any questions, we try to answer. And we finish by 12 o'clock today, hopefully.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Again, I'll remind our attendees here, you can raise your virtual hand so we can recognize you to open your microphone. Let me see, the first question is in apparently German. I'll have to translate that. Go to the second question. Well, it's a question about the video of the Keshe coin of last week is not to be shared as it was taken out of the knowledge seekers workshop, taken out of the teaching. Is there anything you want to say about that, Mr. Keshe, or we just say it's a...
Yeah, there was some technicality with these videos. The technical word, it had two words had to be added to secure the Keshe Foundation. That's why we stopped this tape as well. They're all been adjusted and will be played from next week once we transfer everything to Rick, and you can play it anywhere. The sixth one is already made. It should be polished by next week. And maybe next week we play all the videos in different time that you can see the development. And we have sequenced it in a very special way from birth to the old age. And then the same with what we call the government. And then how everything will link together. We withdrew it because of a small technical, or 2 words needed to be added, 2 or 3 words to be corrected. And that's why it'll be put in again next week completely.
Okay, thank you for that. Let me see, under anonymous attendee. What happens by washing under the shower, having a shower with the melamine? And second, can you expand a little on the role of calcium-40 in connection with the soul?
Calcium is one of those what we call it sets at the field strength, because we don't look at the what we call calcium as we look at the field balancer between the matter state and the energy state. It's a field balancer between the gaseous, the animal world, and the vegetation, where it actually calcium plays a fundamental point on Earth not in the space. And it's all to do with the inertia and the plasma field of the center of the Earth, what we call gravity. It has no other function. In another planet could be lead, it could be aluminium, it could be another material which, as a human race, we do not know. And calcium and potassium mix together because part of the calcium potassium field strength common denominator field allows the calcium in the vacuum condition of the plasma of the body of the man to behave as a radioactive or a source, which triggers myelin to become melanin, and then in that condition creates the hardware or the hard structure of the bone. And at the same time, when is the energy level become the seed of every cell. You don't have a single cell in the body of the man which does not carry calcium. Impossibilities. We don't have one to now. And if it doesn't have, it becomes the funguses and everything else which is in the body of the man. So calcium has a very tricky position in the what you call structure to do with the physical life and not with what you call the anything else but the compromise. The shape of your bones, like if you look at the ribs, the shape of your spine, the shape of your legs, all comes as part of this. Rick, I have sent you the new set of the videos. If you open the mobile one, the first one, look at the last one, is the one you want to play today, or beginning one, not this. So when we look at the calcium, we look at balance fields. If you look at the history of the Keshe Foundation work, even with the bottles, we added potassium because of the potassium 40. But there is a field strength in the structure of the atomic structure of the calcium, which is radioactive. And that in interaction with the neurosystem, it creates the condition of the creation, solidification, manifestation of the bone. This is one of the reasons, for example, we have no blood vessels in the brain. We have no nerves in the brain because itself is a plasma controlled by higher order energy. We don't see any blood vessels in the bone marrow. We don't see any blood vessels in the bone itself. And the condition which the bone creates in the interaction of the what we call field of the nerves and the blood vessel dictates how they are constructed. When you have a very low, what we call field strength and a high energy matter state, you get the thick muscles, you get thick bones. When is the energy balance, you get strong bones. Where the energy of the physicality is very high, you get very thin bones, like what we call the rib cage. If you look at where it's a very powerful neurosystem, what we call the universal energies. You see the spine. We don't see very high power blood vessels around the spinal structure of the man, because is universal energies is the high level energies which they themselves dictated. If you look at the what we call the gaps between the different part of the spine where the nerves come out, these gaps, these discs have a huge application in absorbing and releasing energy from the spinal cord in and outside the body. But in the structure of the calcium, in respect to different fields of the calcium, dictates where that calcium, what cells it becomes when it interacts with the blood, the energies of the blood of the man. The blood flow does not bring everything. The energy of the blood flow works 100 times more than actually what the physical blood brings. As I said, you can feel the energy of the heart 3 feet, 4 feet away from the body. And how come you don't expect any of that energy affects the cells in that environment, which are a part of the body of the man? We ignore a lot of things because we don't understand. Now we cannot ignore it. We have to understand it. Where you have the heart, high energy level, both from the breathing and both from the physical dimension of the man, why do you have such a thin ribs? Very little bone marrow created. This is all because of the functionality of the what we call potassium and calcium and energy level in that zone of the spectrum. Now that we have opened this chapter about the myelin and melanin as the converter of the universal energy and deliverer of universal energy to the body of the man, then we have to look at, do we need to eat if we can create the emotional absorption from the fields of the universe? Would we gradually lose the bone structure? Would we lose the muscle structure because we are more dynamic? Would you like to be locked behind the door? Or you can just skip underneath in the gap because you have no bone structure. Do we need to be locked up in this village of earth when we become part of the universal energy itself? This is, as I said, you don't need the knowledge. You have to understand the condition of interaction. Feel its strength of it. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Let me see here. We have in the Q&A.
Have you received the videos? Destroy anything you had before.
Right.
Old and new, the full set.
Thing with these videos is they're very low resolution. They look blurry on a full screen. So we should have the originals, not the.
You know where to go and get it.
Yeah, that's where I got the other ones the one that I played today.
No.
But if these are all the latest, then yeah.
I'll destroy anything you had before, because then you get a confusion which one is which.
Yeah.
Use this because we receive it in this format. We record in that format.
Okay.
Okay.
And do you want me to play that last one?
The last one will be good. Then you can change it later. If you can play it, it's very nice.
Okay, so it should be good to play now then. Correct? Yeah. Okay, let me let's Well, I'll try to play it. It's behaving differently than the other ones for some reason. We'll see if it'll play okay. Okay, so this would be the fifth in the line of videos. And let's share it now. Whoops.
Across our planet, millions of families begin each day carrying a silent question. Will there be enough food for the children? Will there be medical care when they are sick? This is the weight of survival, a shadow that has followed humanity for generations. But shadows only exist where there is light waiting to break through. Now imagine a different possibility, a world where survival is no longer a struggle, but a birthright. At the center of this vision is the Keshe coin, a humanitarian bridge to a new era of stability. Consider a family of 4. In this illustrative model, the father receives 30 Keshe coins. The mother receives 30, and the children 20 each. A foundation of 100 Keshe coin per family of 4. Each Keshe coin is internally valued at 1,000 euros. This isn't just a number. It is the removal of fear. It is the end of the survival game. With basic security, this family gains something even more valuable than money. They gain time. Time for the father to listen to his son's dreams. Time for the mother to teach her daughter's curiosity. They engage with the peace game, transforming global cooperation into a collective achievement. The One Nation Network connects every home, ensuring no one is left behind in the dark. Science and technology are no longer weapons of competition, but tools for human flourishing. We see the results in the eyes of the children. They are free to build, to create, and to lead. The home becomes a sanctuary of learning, where the heritage of the past meets the promise of tomorrow. One nation, one planet, one race. These are not just words, they are the blueprint for our evolution. When humanity is freed from the pressure of survival, the human soul may finally elevate. We look beyond our borders, beyond our atmosphere, toward the infinite reality of the universe. Our destiny is written in the stars, and we are finally ready to reach for them. Scientific breakthroughs in plasma technology and space travel open doors we once thought locked. We are travelers on a journey of discovery, united by a common purpose and a shared light. A family free to build the future is a family ready to join the cosmic community. The transition has begun, from the hardship of the earth to the wonder of the heavens. This is our moment. This is our choice, to rise together as one. The future is not something that happens to us. It is something we build with love and science. Let us step forward into the light of a new dawn. A world where every child is a star and every family is free. One nation under the infinite sky. One race moving toward the truth. Join us for the family, for the future, for the soul.
All right, that's the end of that video.
Thank you very much. That brings home how we stand and where we stand, how we're going to change. But as I was explaining to knowledge seekers past couple of days, they said how this is going to work. I said it's very simple. How did cryptocurrency come in? How other coins came in and they reached values of tens of thousands. This is backed by people. This will go much faster than any cryptocurrency once it's fully floating. It's become an international currency because people do it. And what we call, it is internal and it is part of the work of the Keshe Foundation. As we announced last week, the Keshe group in Austria met last Monday, and they voted by 90% vote that the Keshe coin become part of the work and acceptable within the structure of the institute. And so now we will register different Keshe companies and structures into it, that you all can use it as long as you register as a member in your country or in the Austrian connection to start with. And as ONNs are leaving and it's with you, and the coins become operational in the structure of the VPN of the Keshe Foundation, gradually within the next 12 months, every single one of you will have access, every single person on this planet will have access to change it. And the way we have set it up is that nobody can play and speculate on it. 1,000 stays 1,000. And then we fraction it, how much everything worth. At the moment, we fraction it parallel value to 1,000 euro. But in time, everything will have the same kind of values across the world. We don't need to use euros, dollars, or any other currency. The society will decide on it. And as I can envisage in the next few months or couple of years, they encourage you to buy more Apple programs or more orange juice programs or more burgers, taste and energy, 2 for a price of 1, which you pay 0.001 of 1 coin for 1 year supply of burgers and chips. We see this coming up. We see it operating. And once we add the universal, what we call systems, cosmic ray connection systems, it makes the systems like what we see with Mars obsolete. You don't need no satellite. There are no expenses. So everything will change. It's just, it took a long time to get here. Now we are here. We start seeing the change. Watch the next video, which comes out next week, hopefully. It gives your responsibility to your governments, and the government, the way the governments can start using the coins as part of the backup. The other coins we see now in the market for 50,000, 60,000 has no value. It's people who value it. It's people who brought it in and made it a game. And now this one makes no one billionaire. But everybody is safe and secure. You can keep it. If you don't spend your 10 coin or your 30 coin today, and you hold it, and you use it next year. You use it, maybe you put the house together, it's 3 of you, 4 of you in the house, and you collect about 100 coins a year. You put your coins together over 2 years, 3 years, because you're working outside, this become part of your asset. And in time you change it for a house. In time you change it for a trip to the moon. Nobody knows how this thing will develop now that is, as we said, the cat is out of the bag. We are just opening the door. And as we saw, somebody created a game, call it a Bitcoin. And it gets value. But now, Keshe coin is in the structure of the Keshe Foundation work. So we control it. Nobody can abuse it. And nobody speculates on it. And everybody has it. It's the same as when we produce enough gold. What's the gold? My kilo of gold I created in the kitchen, you created and you dig a mine. It's the same. And this is the whole purpose behind this. Currency that every man on every planet and every part of this planet can use. A currency which is for one race, and we all value it the same. And with this, we'll see the end of abuse. And when you watch the next video next week, you'll understand more how it's going to affect you. It's going to change your lives beyond your imagination. Beyond your imagination. When a mother doesn't need to worry about the food on the table, the mother becomes a mother and teaches the neighbor. And when a mother doesn't need to go to work from 9 to 5 to have a food on the table, the mother spends time with the child to bring a correct child up. It won't happen over one generation because a lot of mothers themselves are not educated to be a perfect mother, but they strive, and in the programs we gradually teach how to teach the soul of the man. And then you'll see your child becomes gradually as part of the society. Very soon we'll introduce the companies which are in gaming will not be access. People who work or play through the gaming, especially fighting games, we bring restrictions on use of the Keshe coin on them, which means we change the gaming, which is the biggest problem at the moment in the society for the youth is this violence, which has creeped in and is normal to our children. There is a way to curb it, and we will curb it very, very soon, in the next few months, through the Keshe coin operation. Coins cannot be used for gaming. And when people play games, we block. You have a choice. You become a peaceful, truly, not just coming and cashing coin. We build in parameters. We follow where your coin goes, and gradually we uproot this new American fashion of killing is a thing to do. And I said to a diplomat very recently, as we see in the Middle East, the people have not understood what is about to happen if it happens the way it shows itself. The Vatican worked to split Russia in 1990s through John Paul. And Vatican has chosen American Pope, and United States will be split. That was the whole plan. And Iran game was part of this game. Do not be surprised, as we saw the split of the Russian Empire, USSR, to 13 nations plus, that by the end of the Middle East war, America will be in the States and not as one nation. The world governments will not allow ever such a force to be gathered together that creates such a mayhem for decades on this planet. And we've seen it. We saw John Paul opening up, ripping up apart the Eastern Bloc and USSR. And you should have been knowing the pattern of the work, how the other Pope had to take silence when he emptied all the reserves of the Vatican. The American Pope is put in to bring the end of the United States. Exactly what happened to Russia, but the Americans were too proud to see it. And this war we see is one of the ways that you will see the end of superiority and the split of the United States to maybe 20 different nations. Depends how they come together and how it be a strike in the moment diagonally across that we don't have states in the middle with no access to the ports. As I said to them, with the new technology, ports are irrelevant. Or we bring like states like Arizona and that side, that part of the connection towards California as one state. But sure, what happened to what we call USSR is splitting into 13, 14 nations and the division of the rest of the Eastern Bloc. Was chosen because of the Pope was chosen. Now the same thing is replicating in the United States. United States for sure will not be united very soon. And they put the seed, they brought them into the war to weaken them, and the rest of the world, with help of themselves, will split themselves up. And we see a beginning of the peace by changing this behavior of warmongering. And if the United States changes, splits into 40 or what we call 14, there's a possibility of 20 nations, then they decide on themselves. And none of them will spend money anymore on wars and making weapons, as they cannot afford it. Many of them will not be. The coastal lines will become deeper inside. California joining Arizona and that side, and that kind of thing with the Texas and Dallas and everything else, and the West Coast and the East Coast and New York and other places on the east side will go deeper inside. We see at the moment there's a plan of about 20 nations out of the 50 where economically they can support themselves. And choosing the American Pope should have indicated that what is about to come to America. We'll see. By the look of it, this war of Iran is prelude to splitting of the United States to different states and end of this mayhem, war and warmongering, and just creating weapons to create wars. And when America loses such a strength, you will see the end of the state of Israel with it, because there's nobody to support them. Even they join themselves with Pentagon and the rest of it, there will be no finances for war. Nations will more concentrate, and we announce a new dimension into Keshe coins regarding US citizens. Any other question?
Okay, thank you. I translated one of our questions that's in German to English, and it goes like this. It's from Renate. When an immunoglobulin forms in the body that destroys the myelin sheath of the nerves, in other words, an autoimmune reaction, how is this linked to emotions?
This is fundamentally higher order energy. It doesn't destroy it. It become part of, and scientifically actually can be used to create a new higher order shield or cover. We have done this. We know exactly what you're talking about, and it needs. It's very much like a virus. And you need to deplete the energy of the virus. When we have a full experience on this with the corona. Most of the autoimmune systems understanding this work of the cosmic rays are repairable, and you will see it very soon out of the China Keshe Foundation cooperation. Very soon, in the next 12 months, is part of our system set up, where the factory is getting set up to produce the material. And we think the first products of in the China health, the structure will appear sometimes before end of this year. And a large number of it's not one or two. We come in with quite a large number in the next 2 years for over and near 100 diseases, conditions, and everything else. It's all set up, it's on the move. And you will see products which certified, licensed in China. And I said, the people said, well, how can we sell it to Europe? I said, the Europeans and the Americans can fly to China. China has become the center of the wellness of the planet. And these are all set. We very soon, some of you will work in these factories in Shanghai or in Beijing, and it's part of our development. The process has started. It's just the Keshe Foundation teams do their work. We had to complete what we call the supply chain, which is going to be completed in the next 3 to 4 weeks, which provides all the resources for all the Keshe Foundation materials around operation and research. Then we had to secure other positions and others, and it's getting slowly. If you look at the list, which is going to be published in the next couple of weeks, we need a lot of people in energy space and decontamination. And we gradually set these things up. And it's all getting done. Agriculture is in a full swing. It should complete by the end of July, whatever we started. End of July, the factories are in position, and once we have our factories and everything in position, fully operational, tested in what we call August and September, from October on, you will see a massive amount of products, technologies coming out of the Keshe Foundation China, all certified, and it'll be used in China. And if you want to use it outside, we arrange licensing to CE certificate and American certificate if you need be. And maximum is you cannot use the Keshe technology because of hasn't got the FDA certificate. You take a flight to China and you use it in China, and you don't need to die off because the FDA does not receive the briberies they need to get the certificate. Why do you need 100 million or 300 million for getting a medicine certified, which is actually a herb off the ground? And this is the advantage for the work. All these immune systems, autoimmune systems, is another kind of virus. It's dilution of energies. And if you understood the teaching of today, it can be handled, and it's part of the first 100 products and technologies which will be released by Keshe Foundation in the next few months.
Yeah, along those, we have a couple of hands up here with a couple of our.
I have to finish at 12 o'clock.
Right, I understand that.
I have to travel. Yes.
So a quick question first from Achilles in the Q&A, who is asking, may I ask if the Keshe Foundation has any plans to open the chat room service currently integrated in the Enlightenment game to global software developers and companies in the form of a public API? This would allow the foundation to focus on development and ensuring the reliable operation and maintenance of the service, while also attracting individual and enterprise developers to build apps specialized for local users. Thank you.
I presume yes, but you have to wait. At the moment, we're trying to expand our IT with the people we trust. This is one of the problems. And it's taking time. Hopefully, when it's completed, yes. What you see on the game is what is going to be delivered, but at the moment it's human resources at the moment.
Okay, let's hear from Azar first, and then we have Dean with a hand up as well.
Good morning.
I have one question.
I have only one question.
One question.
In case I bump to you sometimes, I might ask more question with your permission, but I ask only one question. When we this question is not related to today's teaching. When we die, I know, like, when we die, we go to the place that we go find a position to the place that has to do with what we have done on this universe and the physicality. But when you have a building with 200-300 young people sleeping, and suddenly they bomb them, and they have gone without their own permission, what will happen to them? And then can we bring them back? And then if we can bring them back, how?
This is, it happens not with a bomb, it happens with earthquake, it happens with natural disasters, it happens with accidents. These souls are already aware of what's coming. And these souls have already know of their position. Even though it looks like an accident, 100 or 1,000 people die because of whatever reason, the souls are fully aware of what is to come. And their position is already fixed to go. But in the normal condition, we don't need to die if you understood the teaching of today. Death is a physical dimension. But if you can transfer into the energy, universal energy, it's everlasting.
But are these people in a good place now?
What you call the position is your soul, if you die today, goes to a good place or it goes where it's supposed to go. You understand?
Okay.
It's horrendous what is happening around the world. It happens in earthquakes. We've seen tens of thousands of people die in one go because of one shake. But Earth is not the only place which has this. The Earth has a combination of the floor, in liquidity of magma, in liquidity of the water, in the dynamism of the air, and in the dynamic field of the planet. And when these four interact, you get creation, you get emotion, you get reflection. And this is what happens to what you call a dynamic condition like this. And the only what we call difference with the planet Earth, it creates as a frequency which we call love. And this has not been created anywhere in the universe, where unconditional giving. The whole universe works under the balance of the energies. Earth has a peculiarity that emotion, especially emotion of love, which is giving unconditional, has creeped in. It's something the universe does not know. As I said, the planet Earth is known as a planet of four-wheelers at the moment, but essentially is known the planet where there's an emotion people give beyond their own. Everything else in the universe is unbalanced. Here, the emotion of giving, the way we know, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist anywhere in the universe, but our emotion of love is what killed what they call was the final trap, which Mitra brought the creator to it. You have to feel it. Otherwise, everything is the same. Look at Jupiter, look at Saturn, look at other planetary and universes. They have all the magnetic fields. It's the combination which has created this emotion, and it's unique. So,
thank you, Mr. Keshe.
You're welcome.
So I think you've already answered the next question I was going to ask from Theodora in the Q&A. What is the true meaning of happiness and compassion? We all experience the, quote, darkness of the light, unquote, through conflict and misunderstanding. How can we rise above everything happening around us? Why do we suffer? Why do we weep without truly wanting to?
Try to transfer to the energy of the soul and see if it still exists in that level. Be it the suffering, be it everything else. Next Thursday, I'll open something to do. Next Thursday teaching, especially the second part, will have nothing to do with Keshe Foundation teaching. It's something important for all your knowledge seekers to understand. It's a very fundamental point that we will just report. You're not part of it, but knowledge seekers will report to you what has happened, what is the position, and then you understand how even that part of the work of the foundation comes into a different level. Emotion is the characteristics of when a certain field of strength in the universal fields in their interaction create conditions with the matter state. And that, in a way, the third level, which what we use as vegetation, increases the emotion. Nothing, and this is why Earth unique, the condition has been created on this planet, which mainly through what we call plants and herbs, which does not exist as such in other part of the universe, create a condition with encourage the emotion. We don't smell a stone, we smell a plant, and to it we show an emotion, the smell of rose. And that sense of a smell creates a condition we know as emotion. We love it, we fall in love with it. Universal fields have emotion through the magnetic fields. You still have a smell in the dimension, if you call it a smell, in the dimension of the fields. But the physicality, the introduction of this middle element, which we call vertical people, between the humans and the fixed planet, has created a condition which we call the emotion. And this is unique to this universe. And because of it, we create an emotion that we fall in love with. We like sense of a smell that does not exist in most of the world of creation in other races. But this use of planetary system, what we call the Earth, zinc, copper, magnesium as a solid, then the vegetation in the middle, and then the human race. And it's the way I explained at the beginning of teaching today. The structure of our brain goes that way. Has created a field band, we call it emotion. This is the main factor, and this is why we said the Creator fell in love with Earth, is what we call heaven. Humanity is looking for heaven all over the world. Heaven, in the true sense, is this planet, once man starts killing. And it's unique to this planet because of the bandwidth of the fields which vegetations, which flowers, the herbs create in the body of the man. They've done from the beginning. And this emotion with attachment to the smell has even brought dinosaurs into killing, eating. We follow the scent, and animal follows the scent, the smell, to kill. We take a rose, we smell it, and we know the smell of love, because that the smell is very tuned. The oil of rose is one of those which is more tuned to our emotions than anything else. And we fall in love. We give, what do we give to our lover? A rose. And when you fall truly with someone, then you understand what it means. You make a garden that it always has a rose, that every time you see your love, you give a rose to. That smell, that scent is, which does not exist in the universe. And this is the uniqueness about the Earth. And maybe for the first time I can explain this. When I was young, when I fell in love for the first time, truly, I built the garden that every time I come out of the house to go and see the girl I love so much, I can pick a rose up and give it to her. There wasn't time you could come out of the house that there wasn't a rose blooming. There were so many of them, different colors, because it's a symbol of loving and symbol of giving unconditionally. And nothing does in the universe, vegetation, what we call the smell of flowers, does not exist in the universe as such. And that has created a special emotion in man we call the giving. That brings him matches to the near emotion of the Creator. Unconditional love. And when we fall in love, that's what it becomes. And then is the nearest thing that Mitra could show to the Creator. I made a match for you. You wanted to be loved. I found a place where vegetation creates that in man to love. But man changed that love to eating it. Any other question?
Okay, we have a hand up with Dean here. Please go ahead, Dean.
Thank you, Rick. Good morning, Mr. Keshe. Thank you for wonderful teaching again. Mr. Keshe, so it's what you're showing there is a bit like I mentioned this before in another meeting, was the aroma of emotion. So it links to us, the smell. Once you smell it and it comes, the breath comes in, and you absorb it through your skin. It becomes that emotion that we all interact to. It becomes a memory that is very, very powerful, and it links to you. So another question, Mr. Keshe, would be what you were speaking about earlier with the skin and these irritations and things. What would happen with the skin of the planet Earth when there's certain interactions happening that would cause an irritation?
You have the earthquakes.
Yeah.
You have the volcano.
Mm-hmm.
You have the hurricanes. And the rest of it.
Are they linked locally, or do they manifest because
it
of a
is
situation?
part of the structure of everything else.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of an energy trap, part of energy manifestation.
And so if we, Mr. Keshe, so if we cause this ourselves within our own structure, and we're linked to everything from micro to macro, from an atom to a universe, then it must be the same all the way through.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
There is no difference in the world of creation. It's just man makes it for him to be more, looking much better.
So when we wrap the world in plastic, like in, say, an ambulance, people wear these jackets, bright colored jackets, what would that do?
A lot of things. We have, actually, not very far from where I am now, we have knowledge seekers who have gone critical up to the point of literally they cannot eat anything. They cannot sleep. A small irritation creates a more or less life condition. By just wearing nothing else, these new sports clothing. We are analyzing it. This material was in my hand a couple of days ago. We are researching into this very deeply, as I said in the teaching of today. These synthetic colors, plastics, being carbon connected, is creating mayhem in the life of our children. Our young generation are moody. You look at the people go with these fancy sport clothes and run. These fancy clothes, sports clothes, plastic. Don't give your children. You buy a sports gear for your children, your grandchildren, buy cotton. Don't compromise. You play with their life in the future. They say if you use a toothbrush, the plastic toothbrush, at every time you brush is about 10,000 or something huge number of microplastics you give to your child. Change your toothbrushes to natural toothbrushes. And these microplastic color is horrendous. We see a lot of people, you see it on the back of the bottles. It says this number for coloring. which is all carbon-based. If a drink you take, you give it to a child and you see it becoming hyperactive, you become allergic to it, how come you restrict your brain only to the water, to the drink? What about the clothes which carries the same? We have been put in such a cycle of thinking that we don't think anymore. If you see I'm allergic to this because my body can't take it, and look at the bottle, how many C's, what other names are added to, and the factory producing these sports gear, this clothing, and not necessarily sports gear, but the sports gear is one of the most part of, even we see the young people dying on the sports ground. The static energy created and the color combination created, the heart cannot take, it's just sap into it. They say I had a heart attack. See what child was wearing at the time. What has been clothing with? You see the new cancers. See, why does it come? Our clothing, present clothing, is one of the biggest sources of all our diseases. 80% of our new generation problems, emotion, eating, performance, all connected to the clothes they wear, synthetic, and as you put color, so and so and so on the bottle, put those on the clothing, and then you see who wears and see who allergic to what, because there's one big factor, huge factor, which nobody considers, is that when you wear this clothing, you sweat. Sweat is the salt and the water. In a way, what you have between the outer layer, middle layer, and the inner layer, now you reverse it the other way around. It's your skin, your sweat, and the outer layer, which is chemically dangerous.
Forcing all the toxins back into the skin instead of...
Exactly.
I've wondered about the sports bras, the polyester and other synthetic sports bras that women have now, and whether that's related to the continuing increase in breast cancer.
Yes. Data is coming up very rapidly. The manufacturers soon will be forced to put what color code they use, and you see if you're allergic on it, you don't touch it. These fancy colors you see in the sportswear is a recipe for a lot of disaster for our generation to come. A lot of women can't give birth. You see a lot of people who do a lot of these runnings and wear this fancy clothing have a problem giving birth, because the magnetic field, the potential field, the strength of the womb has changed. You got to understand, in City of London, majority of the men have become infertile, because so much contraceptive has been used by women, and then it passed on through the water, and then it gets recycled and back for everybody to drink, and it touches the man's productivity. How can that water, which is gone, can affect, but the skin you wear on you does not affect you? Try to convert into natural materials. Now you have a lot of companies, they use the bark of the woods, they use different combination of natural materials and gives you a feeling. It's different. If I wear a synthetic clothing, I feel like trapped. Somehow the energy is trapped in. Use natural materials, and you see people who lived a long time. Look at the people who live 200, 300, 400 years. They've always been in the world, the realm of natural clothing. But we don't understand it, and the commercial forces make it sometimes impossible. We have it in China. In China, IKEA sells silk quilts. In the West, we don't see it yet. And when you sleep in the silk quilt, you sleep totally different. Winter quilt in China, you can buy that the content is 100% silk. It's totally weightless and it's so comfortable, and you sleep because you sleep in the nature of different things. It's like when you choose a bed, don't choose a bed with a spring, because the metals distort the cycle of a sleep. In China, we have, in the Europe, I've checked all the IKEAs, it's not here. You look at the silk bedding, which is now, it's very common in IKEA in China. It's amazing. It more emphasizes in what I said. For me to sleep without that kind of thing nowadays is impossible. I prefer not to, because the energy balance is different. And it's normal. It's not something you pay exorbitant prices. It's a normal price, but the big companies have started looking at. You see a lot of cotton companies coming up. A lot of companies with natural fibers are popping up all over the world. It's not unique anymore. And if you can be in that point, especially your youngsters, explain to them what it is. Give them a glass of orange juice, make them hyperactive, says you carry this on your skin. They say they don't know why athletes suddenly die on the football grounds. Check what they're wearing, what they've been wearing with.
Mr. Keshe, can I jump in and quickly say something there? Because there's something important, I think. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. But the running on the pitches, I noticed when I was a lot younger, they brought in these plastic pitches, and I was always I loved football, and I played football for many years. And I remember running around on open grass fields and things, and then they brought in these plastic pitches, and I trained on one, and then all of a sudden I broke down, and like literally my legs, I couldn't move.
Yeah,
And
you create a static
connection. Yeah, I just could not move. So the moment they brought them in, there was a big imbalance in the body, and it totally changed the whole structure. The link, it was disconnected.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now you understand. You feel it, because I know exactly, because I used to play football in England on this field. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And remember the vinyl hoses for water hoses that we used to drink out of, and they used to say you should run the water for a while before you drink out of it, because it's sitting in the sun with the vinyl full of plastics. Actually,
you could taste it. You could smell it.
Literally taste it.
You could taste it. I know, but the young generation, I mean, it's something which has to be understood by the commercial pressures. You make even synthetic, don't add these colors to it. Plain colors, natural colors, without additives. You shop without additives. We pay for bio food. Look at the bio clothing. It makes a lot of difference. Even in your emotion, even in your sleep pattern, even in your way of thinking. Especially women with bras and underwear and all these fancy negligees, which says cancer, 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 die, 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 die.
Mr. Keshe, what do people do about shoes? Do we go for leather, cotton, or there's a lot of synthetic materials in shoes and sneakers, and combined with synthetic socks is a kind of a bad combo.
I can't touch any of these, especially socks in what you call synthetic. But shoes, again, goes depending on your, what you call, needs of. I usually try to wear for decades. I always buy leather shoes. But due to some reasons, I have to wear synthetic shoes. I'm very careful, and I feel it when I do, but it's all medical reasons and anything else, because he has stopped a lot of problems for me. And in the leather world, they don't make these things. It's not there yet. But try to be as natural. It's not becoming, it's just understanding what it does to us. There's a reaction to every action, and our body is not yet evolved. But most probably our next generations will evolve to accept the energy, synthetic energy, or what you call the static energy of the synthetic materials. But at the moment, we don't. You put your children in a cotton clothing, and you put your children in silk clothing, you put your children in natural fibers, and watch their behavior and give them synthetic clothing with all the decorations on it. And then you understand exactly it's as bad as the drinks you give them and they become hyperactive.
Mr. Keshe, sorry, jump in again. So could you change this condition? So there's two ways to manufacturing and all the, the chemicals and all these mass-produced things. To change that individually on each item is a huge scale thing that's going to cost trillions of dollars and pounds, euros, whatever you want to call it.
Very soon, Keshe Foundation will introduce a new type of clothing. It's in the patent. But maybe in a year, 2 years' time, we will introduce this product into the market now that the research center is going. You do not need to wear clothes to be clothes, if you see what I mean. We wear clothes because of the cold, the heat. We wear clothes because of our principles. Genitals cannot be seen. But there is a solution which is used in the universe by many races. It's not something new. That you've been to China and you see suddenly the buildings all become light. You don't see the building, you just see what the light stands under it. And the whole cities, well, at night till about 10 or 12 o'clock, some cities in China are lit like this. This is how the next generation of clothing will be. You can change instantaneously the color of your clothes every second you like. But the technology for it has to be that it fits into the energy balance of the body of the man. Technology is there, it's been tested, and now that we have the research center, clothing is one of the sports, entertainment, and clothing is one of the things which will come out of the Keshe Foundation in China very soon, next 2 to 3 years, maybe even sooner. And this will change. You do the same. We will introduce in the coming time that nowadays you build a building with all the construction material. If you go into the pattern, you don't need to make a construction material. You produce a field, the house that matches your soul, matches your body. The floors are still there, everything is there, nobody can see through the walls, nobody can see off the street. And it just creates a dynamic energy. You have a vertical, any shape of dynamic you like. This is doable, and we'll introduce it. Clothing is one of those. A new game will be introduced, new toys which affects the children emotion. Part of this has been already produced. We are monitoring we are observing the behavior. You play with the certain products which we produce, and we are testing it now. How children change the minute they touch it. They receive the energy. They become less aggressive. They switch to mainly fruits. We are monitoring this. The fruit consumption, vegetable consumption goes so high. No taste as such, with except peaks into meat. And we are controlling, we're monitoring this. But it has to be understood before it's put into the market. The clothing will change. The way we dress ourselves will change drastically in coming years.
Could we have purely field-based clothing?
Yes,
that there's no
that's
physicality.
100%. That's
It's just an illusion, basically. The illusion of clothes.
Yeah, it's 100%. Not illusion. Your clothes is a field, but concentrated, that we call it a cotton. Why the other one should be illusion? is what we accept, what is given to us to accept. Put it this way, the more robots are coming out, the less is for man to do, and it's the right time not to get man bored and do more worse things, is to introduce the coins and the apps and the new things that the robots can make what they like. Man entertains himself with peaceful things. I have to go. I have a trip. I have a schedule to catch.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you.
Thank you very much. See you next week. Don't forget, next week's teaching is at 6 p.m.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. All right, well, that will bring to a close our 651st Knowledge Seekers Workshop. Other than a short video from the Universal Council that I'll play. And let me find that here and get that ready. And this is from Lissy. And I just have to locate it on my rather messy desktop here. This is a wish from the Universal Council. Well, it says it's not compatible with my player. I can't play it. Well, I recommend the Universal Council has somebody that can volunteer to say what they want to say rather than record it. I think that would be much better. That was my intention of what I meant when I would like to hear from the Universal Council. Anyway, the video that you sent, Lissy, for some reason doesn't play, so we're kind of stuck for that, and I'm not sure what. You don't have the image of what I'm supposed to say, so we're not able to deal with that right now. Okay, so let's move along, and we'll say that, let me look at my calendar. Our next public teaching workshop will be next week, the 21st of July. On Tuesday, the 21st, will be the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace with the members and support members of the Universal Council. That program starts at the 4 p.m. Central European Time, and again on Tuesday, the 21st. So we look forward to that, and please come by if you'd like to hear more about the soul-based side of the Keshe Foundation, as well as the various wishes that are brought forward through the Universal Council in that meeting. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you very much, everyone, once again for being here. Go out in our usual manner, and bye for now. Have a great day wherever you happen to be.